Good morning, y'all. What's going on? One thing that you're going to experience a lot of is people having broken phones, and broken phones can be a pain if you're going to fix them up or going to have them fixed up. I have a lot of my broken ones fixed up, not all of them. Um, but the first thing you kind of like the instinct a lot of people have, or at least the instinct that I had, was to just just be like, kind of like I don't want this broken phone, and then offer really low. Um, but you have to do a price that you can like explain, and the easiest way to explain that price is to look at your price sheet. So the simple answer really is just look at a price sheet and figure out what you're going to offer. Um, but then you have to figure out what the market's going to accept. Just because you want to offer a certain price doesn't mean that anyone's going to accept it. And then you have a split from there where you're like, okay, I don't care, or I do care. I do want this phone. It's a good deal. I'm gonna have to offer prices a little bit more in order to get it, and that's just going to be what it is. And so, for a pretty long time, for broken phones, I was getting them replaced for so cheap. And if you're doing them yourself, you can replace them for so cheap that you can afford to just say like, okay, an iPhone 11 broken back, I'm going to dock the $100 as if that's the deduction, as if I'm like a DB. So if the price is 300 at the time, I'm gonna quote them 200. If you're not going to fix that phone at all, then you're gonna have to quote 150. But you might find that you're never getting the 150 price. So it's kind of like I can quote 150 and get 1 out of 10, or I can quote 200 and get 5 out of 10. Get it fixed, in my case, for $40 and still have $60 in profit. Um, the goal is like, I don't know. The goal for me is get more phones and optimize each deal. And I was talking with a mentor of sorts the other day, and he was like, "Well, no, get more phones. Don't worry about maximizing each deal. Get max amounts of phones." And I'm stubborn, so I'm probably going to test, my way. Sometimes it's hard to split test something that you're pretty convicted about. And the truth is, sometimes I sell things as is, so I do that. On in some cases, it's just there's a little formula that's sort of hood math, I guess you'd say, where I just kind of like, okay, that's too much work, and then I'm like, okay, that's worth it. So anyway, so pricing these things out. If you don't have a price sheet out, you can't really give a price. On the other hand, you might not want to deal with a broken front, broken back 11 Pro Max. You just might not want to have to deal with that. So I've been offering $100 on those, and people give them to me. So I find for whatever reason on a 12 Pro Max, I mean 11 Pro Max, if it's broken both sides, $100 gets the deal. My guy fixes it for 125, which is pretty nice because I can sell that for around 380 or so 155, which is going to be more by double it by roughly double than if the phone came in good condition as far as my net profit. So you have to figure out price floors. Always have to figure out price floors, meaning like what is the general public going to accept generally. If they're not going to accept a certain price, you're going to have to make less on that phone, and you're going to have to make up for it on phones where they're going to accept a lower price. So I'll give you an example. For the longest time, people would not accept less than $300, meaning like most people wouldn't accept less than $300 on a good condition 12. So my price was $300. It was $300 when I was getting 400, and it was $300 when I was getting 350. And at some point, the price went down to 330, 315, something like that. And I'm like, oh well, I'm not going to offer that anymore. Too bad. They're gonna have to all say no. Anyway, that's price and good condition funds. But you have to figure out what the price floors are. You have to figure out what you're going to get from it, and then you have to decide if you care or not. Again, if somebody brings in an 11 now broken screen, Because I sent it to a store and they charged me $20, I'm offering them $80. It's going to cost me 60 to fix it. I'm going to be 160 in with a non-OEM screen. If it gets blacklisted, I'm going to lose like $20 if I sell it to a DB because it's going to be grade D. So I want to minimize the downside and I want to maximize the upside. So I can sell that 11 for 260. So I can make $100 on that deal. I'm buying 11s in good condition for about 200 after paying the store. And so I want to make that extra $40 to make up for the fact that I could lose. Um, that extra $40, for the fact that I could lose $20 on that phone. And it doesn't happen often, but it could happen. And that would put me in a bind where I'm going to lose money. So you have to price the upside and you have to price the downside, because if you're replacing stuff, it's non-OEM and it's either going to be sold to a DB for D grade, or you're going to have to find somebody that can buy it from maybe another country. You have to sell it on eBay. You have to put in some extra work, or you have to lose a little bit of money. And neither one of those is the ideal situation for you. So let me back my car up, pulling up to where I'm going to be working for the day. Uh, so price sheets are crucial. Figuring out price floors are crucial, and then figuring out the work and the cost of what it's going to take to get it done, and deciding if that's worth doing, and then making your offer from there. Hope that helps. Later, guys.